Hello and welcome back to Weekend Watch. We are here in the streaming studio with the latest, the most important part of this is going to be about Friday.
It is. We're going to start off with an emphasis on the storm system that's bringing the threat for some strong severe storms. But then we will, of course, bring you the rest of the weekend, too. That's what we do here. And it's, going to be better after Friday. We got to get through the start. That's going to be the tough part.
Thank goodness. I will say, when I looked at the forecast, I don't know, like a week ago, and you look at the, just the temperatures. You just look at the temperatures.
Okay.
And I looked at Friday and I saw 70 degrees. And I thought, this is awesome. This is going to be great. It's going to be spring. It's going to feel fantastic. And then I actually really kind of looked at the forecast.
Really took a look?
I actually critically thought, used the rest of my brain and looked at it and realized that warmth is not necessarily a fantastic sign.
Oh. Why? Yeah, I suppose that's true. This time of year, when it gets this warm, specifically when it gets this humid, that's going to be kind of a different feeling that we're going to see tomorrow for the first time maybe this season, where it's going to be notably kind of sticky, potentially.
Okay. At least now I know what to do with my hair.
Yep.
Just be prepared for that.
First things first, right?
Okay. First things first. The important stuff. Friday, we have a first alert day that we are looking at.
We do indeed. And so it really does encompass the entirety of the day from start to finish. We're tracking and anticipating 2 rounds of storms on Friday. So one that's going to be early and one that's going to be late. And it looks like in between we may catch a little bit of a break, but we're not going to be fully out of the woods of seeing at least maybe a shower or storm pretty much all day long. So this is the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center. They are the ones that issue the severe weather outlooks. And the yellow color here represents what's called slight risk. It is for primarily damaging wind and large hail, although there is an isolated outside chance of a tornado, perhaps that second round.
Do you mind, just really quickly, if I ask,
Sure.
what causes hail? I always feel like I'm a little surprised when hail pops up in the forecast. I'm like, how did that get there? What's going on?
You're like, why is this ice?
Why is this happening? Yeah. It's I don't know. It just throws me for a loop a little bit, because thunderstorms, I'm like, yeah, sure, thunderstorms. And then they're like, oh, and also hail. Hail will be happening. And sometimes it's big hail, sometimes it's little hail. Can you walk me through that?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's look. There's a handy dandy graphic here. So how hail forms is that a storm develops, right? So a storm has something that's called
in the cloud.
We are inside the cloud. So it has an updraft. Storms have an updraft and a downdraft. Air goes up, air comes down. And so the updraft part is where moisture, water droplets get pushed upward, and the atmosphere is colder the higher you go, generally. And so that water moves, even though it's 70 degrees down here, that water vapor turns into ice eventually.
Okay.
And so larger droplets turn into smaller pellets of ice, and smaller pellets of ice accumulate more water as they continue to move up and down in this updraft. So it gets above the freezing level. We'll see that little pellet of ice there, right there. Right above where it says freezing level. So that starts, and then it falls as it gets a little heavier, but then the updraft picks it up again and pushes it back above the freezing level. And so each time it does this, it gains a new layer of water in the non-freezing part, and then ice as it pushes past the freezing level. So if you cut a hailstone into half, it kind of looks like tree rings. And you can see how many times it does that pattern.
Okay, so it's just like bouncing up and down.
Eventually, though, the hailstone, depending on the strength of the storm, so how fast that air is moving upward, eventually it'll be too heavy to be held up by that upward motion. And so it will just fall.
Okay.
Down to the ground.
Okay.
Does that make
Very
more sense?
helpful.
Okay.
Very helpful. Yes, I feel like I
Good.
have learned. That makes a little more sense now.
Yes.
As to why that comes into play.
And so the reason why we get those updrafts that are strong enough is because of other factors in the atmosphere that help to strengthen them or keep them persistent enough that you get those hailstones to develop and especially get larger. Now, sometimes you can get those really small, like pea-sized hail, those little things barely bigger than sleet.
Yeah.
And that maybe is like one or two trips up and down, right? But the big hail, it takes a little bit more than that, or it needs to spend more time in a bigger storm accumulating water and then freezing.
Okay.
And the depth, how big that freezing section, there's like a specific layer that is more prone to growing hail. So how big that layer is can be a factor too. Now tomorrow, it's early in the season, and so we're not going to get those giant, in most cases probably 60,000 foot tall storms, right? Like you get in the summer when you have all, it's hot and humid, and just goes up with what seems like no stopping, right?
Yeah.
No, it's too early in the season for that. So the
Okay.
storms will be shallower, the overall hail potential will be there, but perhaps not what you would see in the peak season.
Probably not crazy hail tomorrow.
Hopefully.
Hopefully not crazy
Hopefully
hail
we can keep
tomorrow.
it relatively steady, but it will be coming with some very warm temperatures.
Yes.
So like you mentioned, when
Yes.
things get this warm this time of year, you do kind of raise an eyebrow. 60s in the north, low 70s in the south. Now remember, we're going to have plenty of moisture around too. Dew points will be pretty close to 60 degrees. And so we're really going to check off everything on this checklist for the potential for strong to severe storms. We got moisture, we described that. Instability is kind of a factor of temperatures and a few other things. Lift is the general upward motion in the atmosphere. It can be caused by frontal boundary or low pressure system or the like. And we're going to have both as a factor tomorrow. And wind shear is something that happens when the wind changes direction with height. So let's talk a little bit about it in terms of the setup.
Okay.
This green represents increasing moisture.
Okay.
And you can see that it does make it up into eastern Iowa. You can see some of the parts off toward portions of western Iowa. There's no green there. That's because the air will be drier. It's also going to be colder up there. There's actually a winter weather advisory up in northwest Iowa.
Really?
Yeah, this time
We've
of year.
got it all, folks.
Yep, this time of year, that's not uncommon, is that you get a little bit of both. The winds at the surface down where we live are going to be coming in from the south. You'll notice them. They're not going to be overwhelmingly strong, but it'll be breezier tomorrow than it was today, or how it has been most of the week. And so that's out ahead of the front as it approaches on Friday evening. This is specifically the Friday evening time frame. A little bit higher in the atmosphere, winds will be moving faster and coming from the southwest. So you see where we went from south to southwest. It's that change in wind direction. So near the ground, south, up above, southwest. And so that's what causes storms to rotate a little bit. And a rotating storm is one that can produce severe weather in a lot of cases. It helps it stay organized, it helps it stay strong. And when that rotation's closer to the ground, that's when you start to worry about the potential for tornadoes.
Say
right?
rotating makes me think tornadoes.
Exactly, and that's part of it too, although you can have storms that are rotating but pose little to no threat for tornadoes too. They're just rotating higher up in the atmosphere.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, the final factor that we had on that checklist, instability, energy for storms.
Instability.
Yes.
What a factor. What a name for a factor.
Nobody wants unstable anything, really. And this will be there. However, it will not be at the extremely high end. This scale, these colors go up to like bright yellow and white on the higher end, and we're just seeing red, which I know red sounds bad.
Red looks red
does.
looks first alerty, but it's not as bad as some other colors.
Yes, it's
Okay.
not as bad as it is, again, when we get later into the season, when we get those higher dew points and higher temperatures. So it's there, but it's early in the season still. So
Okay.
it's always a factor that's going to be a little bit lagging behind, which is fine. And especially given the time of day, that's going to be a situation there too. So let's walk through it. Tonight, midnight, still dry. No storms yet here in eastern Iowa.
So far, so good.
Yep, so far so good. But by the time we get toward 3 o'clock, you start to see new development in central Iowa. And it's after that when we really do expect that first batch of activity to move northeastward and move across eastern Iowa. And that does take place fairly quickly. So between about 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., the initial outlay of this gets pretty close to the Mississippi River after being just on our western edge of the TV9 viewing area before that. And then it continues shifting to the northeast from there. You see a little secondary batch, a little mid-level disturbance is going to be sort of swirling through the area here. You can see it sort of curl and move off to the northeast as it does. And then it takes that precipitation with it. So by mid-afternoon, look how we have drier conditions.
Yes.
Still probably pretty cloudy in a lot of cases. We may see a few breaks of sunshine, but it will be the continued push of warmer and more humid air that will be moving in during this time. Now, by the time we get to about 7 o'clock, look at what is now starting to form off here into central Iowa.
Another little yellow patch over there.
Yep, new showers and storms. And they're going to be tracking, I would say, generally to start with, for the area near and north of Highway 30 during that early evening time period between about 7 and 9 o'clock. To the south of there, we may have to wait a little bit longer for the cold front as it moves through. You can start to see the edge of that here as we get toward about 11 o'clock. You can see that front where the wind changes, so southerly winds out ahead of it, and then those blue arrows, northwest winds behind it. So that will be moving through late overnight, moving through quickly, 2 or 3 o'clock, we start to get out of the woods. So remember, what we want is just for you to pay attention, stay safe.
Yeah, these are happening, a lot of it's happening in those like overnight hours, where it is a great time to have your notifications on. Because you're probably, you know, some of you may be, but you're probably not staring at your phone at 1 o'clock in the morning, at least I hope I'm not staring at my phone at 1 o'clock in the morning. So you want to make sure, you know, I have the weather apps and I have Joe's lovely voice ready to say, severe thunderstorm in your area.
Yeah.
And wake me up and make sure that I know if something is happening where I am.
Yep, multiple tools. That's what we always say. We want you to have your KCRG First Alert weather app. We want you to have your weather radio set. Some people turn those off or unplug them during the winter, which is fair enough, but once storm season returns, you got to put them back on.
Bring it back.
That's right.
Those things are loud, nice and loud.
Indeed, and your built-in cell phone alerts on your phone are not a bad thing to have. We've got other ways. Search for KCRG Weather Call. That's something you can sign up for. But this year, we're going to be doing something a little bit extra on our streaming platforms. And so we will provide some additional severe weather coverage where you're watching us right now. And so this will be on top of what we typically do, the sort of coverage that we've given you over the years on KCRG TV9. So new warnings and tornado warning coverage will still be there right where you expect it.
Yes.
However, we will be additionally giving some bonus coverage, let's say, here on our streaming platforms, and you can find that at a variety of sources. Wherever you're watching us right now, we'll be there. And that's as the storms are moving through. So look for it tomorrow night. Look for it a little bit more later in the season too. It's just one of those things we're going to try just to help keep you safe and just provide more information in more places. That's kind of the goal here.
Yeah, our KCRG News and Weather apps are the best places to find us, you know, at any time. We have a brand new update to the news app, so it's a little bit easier to navigate, kind of a sleeker situation over there. So that is a fantastic update that we have just rolled out.
Yes.
But yes, we know that weather is a priority for you guys. We know how important it is that you know the latest on the situation and that you can keep your family safe. So we want to make sure that we are there with this live extended coverage of any storm situations.
Yes, and that'll be coming from the First Alert Storm Team. You'll probably see, at the very least, me and AJ potentially tomorrow night. Joe will probably be hanging around a little bit too. So just, you know, typical quality coverage that we always give, just in more places more often this time around.
Yeah, we've got the nice little live stream set up in the Weather Lab, which you may have caught here and there, but we have built that up. So it's not just here in the streaming studio. We have streaming to you straight from the Weather Lab with all of their tools and all of their beautiful brains and their knowledge.
Indeed. And we'll just kind of be there and guide you through it in between those new warnings and what's going on around Eastern Iowa.
Yes, so for that coverage tomorrow, just keep an eye on all of our stuff, but we have some nicer weather coming.
That is the good news.
Yay, we can watch.
Woo!
The light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly. Once that storm system moves through, Saturday is looking nicer. However, it is looking a little bit colder.
I'll take colder.
Yeah, but
for some sunshine.
Yeah, 40s this
I'll try
time
that.
of year. Yeah, it's not bad. Sunnier skies certainly will develop. It will be a little bit blustery, so that'll be a little bit of a factor too. So wind chills probably in the low 40s. Gustier conditions earlier in the day on Saturday. You can see there the bigger numbers are earlier. They get better by Saturday evening. So if you have Saturday evening plans, I think we'll be in better shape, but again, a little chilly. Might need the jacket for sure. One of the events going on around Eastern Iowa this weekend, big AAU Girls State Wrestling at the Alliant Energy Powerhouse in
Oh,
Cedar
that's
Rapids.
exciting.
It is, and not a bad weekend probably to be spending a little bit of it inside.
No, that's true. This is the powerhouse? Okay, good to know that when I see all of the cars downtown and all of the people what this will be. State rep, that's fantastic.
Yep, should be a good event. Saturday and Sunday. Weather looks great. Getting to and from both days, even the 40s on Saturday.
Nice enough to take a little walk to a restaurant downtown.
Exactly. Explore Cedar Rapids if you're coming to town. Sunday, even better to do so. Now, it will still be a little bit windy.
That's nice.
But the winds will be coming from the south. And combine that with the sun, we'll see warmer conditions. 60s will be back. And it looks like that warming trend continues into early next week, too. That's because we keep those winds coming from the south or southwest. You can see the strongest winds still expected to be Saturday, but Sunday and Monday, no slouch. We're still going to have a bit of a breeze to go with it, and that will keep us warm early next week. So that's good news.
Noted. Do not put lip gloss on until I get to work.
Does it blow off?
It blows. it blows my hair around, and my hair gets stuck in my lip gloss.
Okay.
That's because I can comb my hair out when I get back to work, but then
That makes more sense.
yeah, that's not a fun situation.
Yeah, I was just imagining the
Corey
color
was like,
just,
I cannot
streaming
imagine.
streaming off your
That's
lips. Yeah, if it's that windy, we need to do more steps than just not put on the lip gloss.
Okay, anyways, that's my note to myself.
Yes, Women's Day Market, Big Grove.
I did not realize that International Women's Day was this weekend.
Get excited.
Happy International Women's Day. If you slouched on Valentine's Day, if you're out there and you're listening and you slouched on Valentine's Day, this is a fantastic way to make up for that.
That's right.
Do something for International Women's Day.
And you could celebrate your woman in your life or just women-owned businesses around the Cedar Rapids area on Sunday at Big Grove. Now, if you're more of a not specifically...
A different kind of celebrator.
Yeah, not specifically women-oriented, but still a celebration. Bar to Bar is what they call it, and it's kind of like an annual bar crawl, I guess.
Is this the 5K?
I don't know.
Okay, I think I saw something about this. Hold on, let me see if I can
Excuse me.
Google this really quickly.
Sunday, warm temperatures. So if it is or it isn't, no matter how you get from place to place in the Irish District in downtown, or it's near downtown, west side, I don't know how exactly to describe it.
Okay, I think this is a 5K.
Okay.
Or at least in the past it has been advertised as a 5K. But perhaps the idea is walking from bar to bar.
I just say, I think you can saunter.
Saunter from bar to bar.
Yeah, I don't think there's any
get your
requirement.
steps in between drinks. Not a bad gig, really.
And weather will be good.
Weather will be fantastic.
Yes, so there's the good news. Through tomorrow, keep an eye on it. Storms will be possible early and late, but then after that, weekend looks real nice.
Smooth sailing. All right. Thank you, Corey. We, of course, will have, again, updated coverage in our evening shows tonight, morning shows tomorrow. We'll have some more live streams like this one to keep you guys posted as the weather develops for our first alert day on Friday. But thank you so much for joining us here on Weekend Watch. Hopefully we brought you some good news at the end of all that storm tracking.
Indeed.
All right. Have a great evening.